Alright, so I know a lot of people have been asking for me to do a non-comic Avengers lineup, and I've been kind of thinking, well, who makes good Avengers material? That's the big thing, because it's not like, with these other teams I've been doing where you're like, I could see so-and-so on this team or that team, but this is the Avengers. This is like the A-game, This is like, the big names to go to this team, you know what I'm saying? So, it was really hard and kind of daunting to really kind of think about who could you consider in a non-comic lineup to be an Avenger. So I gave it a lot of thought, and what really also drove me even further to really put this team together was recently Mount Vernon Kid did his own, as well as Justice League, and don't worry, I'll eventually get to a Justice League lineup. But yeah, for right now, let's just focus on Avengers. Now this lineup will not be an 8-man team like Mount Vernon Kid's. This will actually be a 5-man team as a reference to the original comic book. Yeah, for those who don't know, the Avengers didn't start out with this big 6-man team and, go from there. It actually just had 5 members. It really just had 5 members. In the beginning, it was Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Ant-Man, and Wasp. So this lineup is a reference to the original 5 Avengers. So let's get started with, of course, the leader of the team, Guile from Street Fighter. Yeah, Guile, I think, would make a great... I think he would make a great Avenger. I think he just has the Captain America, do no wrong. He's an excellent leader, too. And, of course, who can deny the Sonic Boom? So, with Guile on this team and leading it, I could see him as... I think he would be a fair leader. I think he would be, willing to listen to the rest of his teammates as well as, help them. Because a lot of these team members have their own egos, and a lot of them are really big powerhouses. But you gotta remember, Cap was the same way too, where he may have had the super soldier serum, but he was nothing compared to the likes of, like, Thor or the Hulk or something like that, where, I think Guile would have this kind of situation. And he doesn't even have a super soldier serum. He's just a great martial artist who knows how to shoot sonic booms. So, with that being said, I think Guile would be a great leader of this team. He's a great tactical mind. He's an excellent martial artist, and I think he knows when to use full force and when not to. So Guile, I think, would make an excellent. Guile for this non-comic book lineup Avengers team. I think he would make a great leader. So, moving right along, we have Mr. Incredible. Yeah, when I did Birds of Prey, I had Elasti-Woman. So, yeah, I kind of thought about it. I was like, yeah, I think, Mr. Incredible would make a great Avenger. So, Mr. Incredible would definitely be, like, the main... he would be the physically strongest member of the team. This is a guy who, with all of his strength and his power, this would be the guy to, he'd also be... I think he would also be, like, someone who would be, following Guile's example and kind of even being, like, giving him words of wisdom if Guile didn't know what to do. Because, honestly, he's Bob Parr, the, Mr. Incredible, he's the oldest member of this team. He would be the eldest member of this group. He would be the one who would probably be the wisest, and also, he's always looking for adventure. He's not just super strong, he's also incredibly durable. He's also, has enhanced superhuman reflexes, and he's actually knows some hand-to-hand combat. So, I think with Mr. Incredible, he would be the one who would just be out there smashing shit. He would be the one who would be out there just constantly, wrecking shit, as well as knowing, hey, we need to back up, guys. We need to, hold up for a second. Mr. Incredible, when I first thought about it, I was like, yeah, Mr. Incredible, he just screams Avengers material. So, moving on. So next up, we have Saras Victoria from Hellsing. Yeah, you're probably wondering, really? Saras, an Avenger. Well, I don't think her master would qualify as an Avenger, honestly. I think he's more a solo act, if anything else. But Saras is definitely a team player, as well as, you gotta remember that the Avengers isn't just like, humans only. It's had gods, it's had monsters, it's had its fair share of really out there stuff. I mean, even machines have been part of the team. Even, there was even a time when, the Sandman, the Spider-Man villain, he was an Avenger for a short time. Granted, he was on backup, but still, he was an Avenger for a short time. So, with that being said, I think with Saras, Saras is definitely a good member. Again, she's incredibly powerful. She's an excellent marksman, and she also knows when to pull back. She knows when to stop. And although granted, she could, that inner vampire bloodlust of hers could get the better of her. But I think, with Guile and Mr. Incredible there, as long with the other members, I think they would be like, okay, hang on, Saras, just don't go off the ropes just yet. And I think there would be, Saras is definitely the one who could easily snap it if given the right circumstances. She could easily just turn on us. But I wouldn't call her a wild card. I don't think I'd call her a wild card. She does have a lot of sense to her. She does have a lot of, she's definitely another major powerhouse of this team. Remember, there was a time when both the Hulk and Thor were on an Avengers team. I mean, yeah, they're on the Avengers teams now, but in the movies. But still, you can have more than one powerhouse, and trust me, when you see the next character. But again, I think Saras has what it takes to be an Avenger, more or less. Speaking of other major powerhouses, yeah, Cora. Cora, from, of course, Legend of Cora, she would make an awesome Avenger, especially with the experience she has now. After the events of Book 4, the events of Book 4, with that, mixed with her, her bending and her own bending style, I think she would be another great asset to this team. Obviously, probably the young. Well, Saras might be a little younger than her. No, actually, yeah. Cora would probably be the youngest member of the team, but remember, that's 20. She'd be at the like I said. This is Cora. I would pick Cora, even though I'm using an image of her in season 1. This is Cora, after Book 4, so she's about 20, 21. Out of all the other members, like I said, the youngest, but that's not saying a lot. So with Cora, another spiritual member of this team. But again, she would probably be one of the bigger powerhouses along with Saras and Mr. Incredible. I mean, the girl can control all elements as well as she's the first metal-bending avatar. Not to mention, her spirit abilities alongside Rava are pretty unmatched, so she would be the one who would be kind of like, okay, this is something spiritual, let me deal with this. I think she would get along, because again, I'm talking about Cora after Book 4, so she would be a more realized avatar. So she would be the one who would be... Yeah, I could think she would get along, especially with Saras and, the rest of the team members. She wouldn't be going around bickering or trying to pick a fight. That would be Cora in the past. Present Cora would be more of a team player. It wouldn't be like, yeah, just let me deal with this, I'm the avatar, I know what I'm doing. It would be more like, okay, Guile, what's your plan here? Because I'd really like to know how we're fighting this. And yeah, I could even see, her and Saras hanging out a lot, or, her training with Mr. Incredible, or the final member of this team. Yeah. So, yeah, Cora would definitely make a great Avenger. And finally, for this non-comic Avengers lineup, would be Kenchi from... Kenchi from Mortal Kombat. Now, Kenchi would be another great member of this team. He'd be the stealth member of this group. And again, the Avengers never really had like a samurai or ninja type character on their lineup, so that would be interesting, especially let alone a psychic samurai. This guy can, lift objects, he can read minds, he's also a great hand-to-hand fighter, as well as an excellent swordsman. He is just a triple threat, but here's the other thing. Kenshi knows when to pull up. He knows when to, use physical force and when to use lethal force. He knows the difference of, okay, now I have to draw back, now I gotta, this guy doesn't deserve to die, I'm on this team, he's going to go down, but I'm not going to kill him. And again, Kenshi is another great team player. I think he would, again, get along with everyone on this lineup. I think, obviously he's been part of the Special Forces alongside, Cage and Sonya. So him working alongside Guile, who's also been a military man, I think those two would get along very well. I think they would mesh. I think that him and Guile especially would mesh together. Like, I could see him and Guile going on like solo missions, like to infiltrate, to let in just so they can be like, okay, we got the shields down, or we got the barriers down. Cora, Saras, Mr. Incredible, smash. Yeah. So, with that being said, Kenchi would be another great member, and again, I think it would be cool to see him train with Cora, Guile, and even Saras. I think Saras would be interested in training with him. And again, I think it would be cool to put those psychic abilities to good use. Just read somebody's mind as like, okay, we've got traps there, a pitfall over there, and is that a dragon? Oh yeah, we're gonna deal with a dragon when we go into this place. Yeah. But yeah, I think Kenchi just has a lot of great Avengers material to him as well. So yeah. So that is my lineup. Like I said, it's just only a 5-man team. But like I said, this was just meant to be a callback to the original 5 Avengers. I mean, yeah, the Avengers start out with 5 members. I decided to, honor that, and I may even update this lineup. I may even, make the roster bigger, like as the Avengers have done. So yeah, I may this may be one where I come back to and make bigger, like how the Avengers have in the past. But for now, I just wanted to stick, as a reference to the original 5. So anyway, and yes, like I said earlier in the video, I will be doing a Justice League video, a non-comic Justice League lineup somewhere down the road. Don't ask me when. I just got to be in the right mood. If I get pestered about it, then I'll just be like, I don't want to do it at all. This time around, it was kind of like, it's kind of like the same thing of why I didn't want to do an Avengers thing right off the bat. Why I didn't want to do an Avengers lineup right at the beginning, because, well, it's like I said, it's really hard to figure out who can call themselves Avengers material. That's kind of the big thing, is that you really need to stop and think, who can be called Avengers, who can be considered Avengers material? It's the same, and that applies with the Justice League, is that who can you see, like, yeah, I can see this character instead of, as Superman, or, such and such, or that character. So, Justice League, that team will be probably as a reference to, of course, the original 7, and as well as the Grant Morrison 7-member lineup. So yeah, that team will be a 7-man, 7-person team as well. But, like I said, that'll be sometime in the future. And yeah, that's another one that's another list I may update as well sometime in the near future. Because again, the Justice League got bigger, so why can't a non-comic Justice League team get bigger as well? And a few other things. If you haven't seen Mount Vernon Kid's video, if you haven't seen the Mount Vernon Kid's video on his non-comic lineup, consisting of both Avengers and Justice League. He did 2 separate videos, and the other ones, he's actually made it. Unlike me, he's actually made his like a series. Where mine, I'm just like, hey, this sounds like a good idea, I'll do that. He's actually made it like his own series. He actually completed quote unquote season 1, and season 2 will be coming along shortly, apparently. So go check out Mount Vernon Kid's non-comic lineups, not only just his Avengers and Justice League lineups, but his other ones too, like Masters of Evil and Suicide Squad and several others. But once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.